Alright, I'm going to tell you one more time the story of my traumatic childhood and how hard we had it and how much we had to work and everything. At one point in time, me and Ronnie, and that's not to exclude all the rest of my brothers and sisters because they all worked hard, but I'm just telling about me and Ronnie because this is what me and him did. We used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. This is in the winter, December, January, and we'd walk about 3 miles up to a little elementary school. This was in the probably about 1949 or 50. And the only heat that the school had was big pot-bellied stove that you had to build a fire in with coal. And there was 6 rooms in that school, so
Whedon.
it was Whedon School, and that was about 2 miles from where we lived on Franklin Street. So we'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and walk up there, and we had keys. We'd unlock the doors, and we'd build fires in every room in this school. It had 6 different rooms. So we'd build a big roaring fire in these big pot-bellied iron stoves, and begin to heat the rooms up then so they'd be warm when the kids got there around 7:30, 8 o'clock. And that would take a couple hours, 2.5, maybe 2 or 3 hours. So we'd get back home, walk back home, and get home about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and wash up and eat breakfast, and then we'd go, both of us worked in stores there. So we'd catch the school bus about 7:30 or quarter late. So we'd walk up there where the school bus stopped, and there was 2 or 3 stores there, and I would work in one store and Ronnie would work in the other store until the school bus called. I worked for Mr. McKee and Ronnie worked for Mr. Arnold. And so we'd work there in them stores until the school bus came, and then we'd catch the school bus and go to Coffee High School. And so to pay for my lunches in school, I worked in the lunchroom washing dishes. It had a automatic dishwashing machine in there, and so I would, to pay for my lunches, I worked in the lunchroom during the lunch hour. And then we'd come catch the school bus home about 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'd go directly to both of these stores. He'd go to Mr. Arnold's store, and I'd go to Mr. McKee's store, and we'd work in these stores until 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night. And this was every day in the week and on Saturday. On Saturday, we worked about from about 6 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. And then on Wednesdays, when these stores was closed, me and him were both the janitors in the Wheaton Heights Methodist Church. So we'd go up to the church on Wednesday afternoon and sweep it out and clean it up and get ready then for church the next Sunday. So we had 4 different jobs and went to school all at one time. McKee, the 16, and I went to work for him driving a brand new 51 Dodge pickup truck delivering groceries, which I would have gladly drove for nothing.
Because it was a new truck.
Huh?
Because it was a new truck.
Yeah, I just had to learn how to drive. Got my driver's license the day I was 16 and went to work for him the next day. So that's 1951. So I was 16 years old when I went to work for him.
Bro?
For McKee, Alden McKee. Of course, there was 5 or 6 girls hung around the store next door around the corner. Every time I'd deliver a load of groceries, then 5 or 6 girls would get the truck and ride with it too.
That many couldn't get in the truck.
Well, there was 3 or 4 of them anyway, however many it was. Ann and Francis and Wyvon and one of our wild escapades was
Our family picnics.
family picnic, right? We there's probably about 14 or 16 of us one Saturday went on a wild excursion up to the Buffalo River to take about a 12 or 15 mile canoe trip. So, I remember in particular, Rhonda was well prepared, like she had seen movies of the canoe trip. So she carried her sunglasses and her straw hat and her makeup kit and everything you can think of to be comfortable on the canoe trip. And after we had gone 5 or 6 miles, and they had proceeded to turn their canoe over a half a dozen times and lose everything they had, she said if she ever made that trip again, all she was carrying was a rope and a knife. So we
Was it Richard and Barbara that put their canoe in, and Barbara just immediately stood up and they turned over?
Richard and Bo.
Was it Richard?
Barbara wasn't with us that time. Barbara didn't go. Richard was in the canoe with Bozo.
They did go, and Barbara said she was never gonna ride with Richard again.
Barbara must have been with this trip.
The second trip.
She stood up and just turned over, and then Bozo stood up because she stood up and she turned over.
Yeah, we hadn't gone far near the road till they'd done turned over. Both of them done fell out of the canoe and turned their canoes over. Hadn't gone 50 yards till they'd done turned over. And here we had 12 miles to go.
And the biggest part was Butch.
You know, Butch was not real skilled about,
And Martha could not swim, I don't think.
no, wasn't real skilled about knowing how to handle the canoe, so we come to a real bad turn, real dangerous, swift water turn in the creek. So I cautioned everybody to be sure that they went down on the left side. There's a big tree that had fell over in the river, creating a dangerous situation. The water was real fast, and this tree had fell right in the water, and I told everybody to be sure they went down on the left side. Well, about 2 minutes later, I looked over there, and Butch and Martha was all the way over on the right side, and they got hung up in that tree, and naturally their canoe turned over and got in under that tree, and we had the awfulest time ever trying to get that canoe back out under that tree. We like to never got it back, and I thought we was going to lose Martha and Butch get drowned, and it took us 30 or 40 minutes to force that canoe back up into the current and get it out from under that tree. So after that, we put Martha and Butch in different canoes with different people that could learn how to handle the canoe a little bit more. But I didn't mean to yell out at Butch so loud. I think I hurt his feelings. And when I yelled out that he was on the wrong side of the creek.
Well, another thing is half of the party had already gone down, and when the rest of them didn't come along, well, they stopped down there below and just couldn't figure out why the rest of them wasn't coming. Thought something bad's happened up there. We've got to get back up there and see what the problem is. So Ronnie got out of his canoe and got up on the bank and commenced running up there to where the rest of them were. Well, he thought he was having a heart attack. He had to sit down on a log. And so there was Butch and Martha about drowning, and Ronnie about having a heart attack up on the land. So after we got Butch and Martha out, you know, then we went on down and decided we'd eat. So we got the chicken out of Sherry's big green garbage bag. And all had fried chicken and swam.
And then, as our luck would have it, it come the damnedest thunderstorm you ever seen, lightning and thunder and cold rain, you know, on a Saturday afternoon. It turned real chilly, and here we were, there's about 15 of us trying to get under one little thin poncho, which is all the protection we had from the rain. And we all just crowded around together, trying to get under. I don't know who had the poncho.
It was Rod or John, one.
I think it was Rod probably had the poncho. We was all trying to get under this one piece of plastic poncho. And everybody got soaking wet and cold.
Then we had to get in the canoes and go on and finish up.
Yeah,
With, you know, after we was miserable and wet and cold and freezing, we had to get back in the water and go on down.
it turned out to be a hell of a canoe trip.
Yeah.
I know it's hard for a lot of them, you know.